I raised my stepkids for 15 years while their real dad disappeared. Then they told me he's their true father and moved in with him. So I cut off all funding and watched them come crawling back. Hello, Reddit I+ here. My name is Caleb, and I'm 51 years old. For more than half my life, I thought I had built something unbreakable. A home, a family, a legacy. I was wrong. I raised 2 children who were not mine by blood for nearly 16 years, only to be told, one quiet afternoon, that I was never really their father, just the man who filled a gap until their real dad decided to care again. Now I'm writing this, because if I don't put these words somewhere, I'll drown in them. I met Nora when I was 32. She was 29, funny, stubborn, and tired in a way that only single mothers can be. She had 2 kids. Ava, a curious 4-year-old who carried a stuffed rabbit everywhere, and Liam, 6, who looked like he had the weight of the world on his tiny shoulders. Their father, Gareth, had walked out when Liam was still in diapers. He sent a few sporadic checks, sometimes months late, and vanished into a new life 3 states away. No visits, no calls, just gone. When I met them, Nora was working double shifts as a nurse assistant, barely sleeping, doing everything she could to keep the lights on. I admired her grit, but what really got me, what hooked me, was the way those kids looked at her, like she was the whole world. When I started spending time with them, I realized something. They didn't know what it felt like to have someone show up just because. Liam flinched whenever a man raised his voice. Ava hid behind her mother when anyone new entered the room, so I made it my mission to change that. It started small, fixing things around their cramped apartment, reading bedtime stories when Nora came home late, helping with homework at the kitchen table. Liam called me Cal at first. Ava called me the nice man. By the 2nd year they were calling me Dad. When Nora and I got married, I legally adopted them. Gareth never objected. The paperwork came back stamped and signed, as if the universe had given me permission to love these kids fully. And I did. Every school play, every soccer match, every report card taped to the fridge. I was there. I built a treehouse in the backyard when we finally bought our first home. I taught Liam how to change the oil in his first car, and watched Ava's face light up when she got accepted into the arts academy she dreamed about since she was 10. I worked hard as a civil engineer. Long hours, tough clients, but every late night felt worth it when I walked in and saw those 2 asleep on the couch, TV humming, popcorn everywhere. That was home to me. Gareth, still a ghost. The man who'd given them his last name hadn't even sent a Christmas card in 15 years. Nora and I divorced when I was 46. It wasn't messy. Just 2 people who had drifted apart. She wanted new adventures. I wanted peace. But we promised to stay united for the kids, and we did. I still paid for everything. Tuition, braces, cars, phones. I never once thought of them as stepkids. They were mine. Period. Then, about a year ago, everything started to shift. Ava was 19 and in college. Liam was 17, finishing his senior year of high school. Ava came home one weekend, quieter than usual. She barely looked me in the eye at dinner. I figured it was stress. Finals, maybe. Then she said it, softly, like she was confessing a crime. Dad, I've been talking to Gareth. For a second, I thought I misheard. Gareth, the man who disappeared before she could walk. Apparently he'd found her on social media, apologized, claimed he'd changed. He'd remarried, built a company, started giving to charities. The whole, I'm a better man now act. She said he wanted to reconnect. I told her she was old enough to make her own choices, but to protect her heart. A few weeks later, Liam started messaging Gareth too. At first, I tried to be supportive. I didn't want to be the controlling father figure who forbade them from seeing their biological dad. But deep down, I felt something tighten in my chest every time they mentioned his name. They spoke about him like he was some hero returning from war, not a man who had abandoned them. 3 months later, they both showed up at my house on a Sunday afternoon. No smiles, no hugs, just nervous glances. Ava sat on the edge of the couch, hands trembling. Liam stood near the window staring outside. I knew, before they even spoke, that something was coming. Ava took a deep breath and said, Dad, we've been thinking about our relationship with Gareth. We want to give him a real chance. He's our biological father. And we feel like we've missed too much time. She looked at me, her eyes darting between guilt and resolve. Then came the words that cracked my world open. We're moving in with him. Liam mumbled something about Gareth having a bigger house, how it was closer to the college Ava transferred to, how Gareth wanted to make up for lost time. I sat there, numb, in the same living room where I had rocked them to sleep after nightmares, where I had wrapped their Christmas presents, where their laughter had once filled every corner. I asked, quietly, what about everything I've done for you? For us? Ava's voice was calm. Too calm. You didn't do anything wrong, Dad. But Gareth's our real father real. That single word cut deeper than anything I'd ever felt. I asked her to repeat it, hoping I'd misheard. She didn't. She just said it again. He's our real father. I wanted to scream, to shake them, to make them see. But instead, I just nodded. I told them they were free to make their choice. But choices have consequences. A week later, I called the college. I told them to transfer billing to Ava's new, real father. I canceled the payments for Liam's car insurance, phone plan, and college fund transfers. I didn't do it out of spite. I did it out of respect for the choice they made. Gareth wanted to play father now. Then he could pay like one. At first, they didn't seem to care. Ava texted a few polite, "I understand" messages. Liam said Gareth was handling everything. 2 months later, the calls started. Tuition deadlines, unpaid car maintenance. Gareth needed more time to sort finances. I said nothing but a quiet, "I hope it works out." And then, the messages stopped coming altogether. It's been nearly a year since that day. Nora called me recently. She said Gareth had already started pulling away again. That he'd lost interest once the excitement faded. Ava moved back to a dorm and took on 2 part-time jobs. Liam graduates next month. I haven't decided if I'll go. People tell me I should forgive them. That they were just kids chasing something they thought they'd missed. But forgiveness feels hollow when you've been erased. I still keep their childhood drawings in a box under my bed. The one where Ava drew me with a superhero cape labeled "My Dad." Sometimes I take it out and just stare at it. At the crayon lines that used to mean everything. 15 years of bedtime stories, scraped knees, birthday candles, and whispered "I love yous," all undone by a single word. Real. Maybe one day they'll understand what that word actually means. Until then, I'll live with the quiet truth that I was the father they needed, even if I was never the one they chose.